And you know, we've done
Lighting
some
on
research
favors
into
this.
that, and it's well documented that these organizations are receiving millions, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of dollars from the industry. So they're saying that, you know, they're opposed to fossil fuels, yet we have to remember that the wind companies are the fossil fuel companies. So Mandy mentioned Equinor, which is right at our doorstep. They're already doing the survey. They're partly owned by a company called British Petroleum. Okay, so some of you might remember the name British Petroleum from the Deepwater Horizon disaster, which was the worst economic disaster in our country, I believe, according to the EPA. And if you want to see how British Petroleum deals with its neighbors, just look up what happened to the people who were injured, or companies, businesses who were injured by the Deepwater Horizon disaster. And you'll know that we do not want these people in our town because they're in it for the money. You know, Audubon is another one. Mandy talked a lot about birds, right? Well, how can Audubon support this when we know it's going to kill birds? So, you know, something interesting is that one of our board members was actually at a conference in Sacramento last year, and it was a congressional hearing on offshore wind. There was a representative from National Audubon. His name is Gary George. He's the director of the Clean Energy Initiative for the National Audubon Society. And he was talking about being pro-wind. And he came right out and said that he did receive, or his organization, the Audubon Society, received $12.5 million directly from the wind developers for a thermal imaging technology system to survey birds around the turbines. And not surprisingly, they discovered that the birds will be just fine. They're just going to go around the turbines. As Mandy said, this has been in their DNA for millennia. So, coincidentally or not, this man, Gary George, was recently promoted to be the chairman of the board of the Renewable Energy Wildlife Institute. Sounds nice. But it is funded by numerous energy corporations, many who profit from offshore wind, including Ørsted, which is the biggest name in offshore wind development. They are the largest energy company in Denmark and were formerly known as Danish Oil and Natural Gas. They're also being funded by British Petroleum. And we can go on and on. Sierra Club has accepted hundreds of millions of dollars from so-called philanthropic organizations who are washing this big energy money through these philanthropic organizations, giving it to organizations like Sierra Club, who most people trust. I've donated to Sierra Club, you know, most of my life.
Right.
So it feels like a complete betrayal to the principles that they started with and which many people still believe that they hold. But now, instead of protecting their environment, now they're about climate. And the environment is in the crosshairs for the climate movement.
Right.
So I'll leave it at there. I have you know, more information if anybody wants it. I can.
Yes.